Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. Happy Freaky Friday to all you freaks out there. I hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money, and there is no better day to make some money than Freaky Friday. Today, of course, guys, we have our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay, and as we do every single Friday here in the NBA player prop video series, we're going to go ahead and do our little Freaky Friday gift card giveaway. The rules, very simple, guys. You guys comment freaky down below in the comment section, and if the parlay hits, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. Now, we've won two of the last three so far this season. I can't remember if we've done three so far this year or four. I'm getting a little bit mixed up on the records, but I know two of the last three. We had won two in a row. Last week we went for the 3P. We missed it by 3 points plus rebounds from Ryan Cockbrider from the Charlotte Hornets. Very, very narrow miss. So this week, let's go ahead and get back on track and cash this mother effing Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay. Now, real quick, before we dive into today's parlay, we do have a quick little recap of how we did last night, and it obviously gives us some good hope coming into today that we swept last night. That's right, guys. We went 4-0 last night. So a 4-0 sweep. VJ Edgecombe over 7.5 rebounds and assists. I didn't understand why his plus money. He crushed the line. It was a very weird spot. Jordan Walsh blew through his number. Great game last night. Keontae George, that line cashed early into the fourth quarter. And Scotty Barnes also cashed his line. A very good matchup against the Lakers here. So 4-0 sweep. You can't really do much better going into Freaky Friday in terms of momentum than going 4-0 the night before. Can we go 5-0 today? That's the key question. But just to show you guys, we're having a pretty solid year overall from a straight bet perspective. We are 28-27 on the year. Still slightly below on units because of some early gambles we took. But overall, if you take the parlays and the straight bets, we are up over 12 units profit so far this NBA season. We're having a great year so far. Let's go ahead and add to that with a huge parlay cash today. Freaky Friday parlay, 5-leg parlay coming your way right now. All right, guys, jumping right into the outlier screen, the first leg of our 5-leg parlay. And don't worry if you miss any of the legs, guys. The final plays will be both in the description as well as in the pinned comments, so you guys can go ahead and tail this parlay. And again, as always, guys, that link in the description, this is a link for today's picks. You can plug the parlay directly into your sportsbook. It's very easy to go ahead and tail. So anyways, our first leg of our 5-leg parlay, we're targeting Spurs, Cavs, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. We're going Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers over 34.5 points plus assists. We are using DraftKings for today's parlay, as we typically do on Freaky Friday, and we are using some slight alternate lines in today's video. Though this one technically isn't an alternate line. I would actually play this as probably a single bet at minus 149, even though it's a little juiced. But data is very strong here, guys. That's going to be the case for most of these picks in today's video. A 71% hit rate on the season for Donovan Mitchell. 15 of 21 games. He's cashed the over. He's averaging 36.19 points plus assists per game overall this season. Narrow it down to just the last 10 games. Still very good. 70% hit rate. Still averaging about 36.5 points plus assists per game over the last 10 games. From a head-to-head perspective, one of the last two matches versus the Spurs, he's cashed the over. But the one time that he missed it, the most recent matchup on April 4th, he had 26 points and 7 assists. So he missed it by 2 points plus assists in that game. So averaging 36 points plus assists over the last two matchups with the Spurs. So really not that bad. Pretty good data across the board here from a matchup perspective. Overall this year versus point guards, the Spurs 27th in points allowed, 9th in assists, and versus shooting guards, 16th in points, 12th in assists. So not bad from an overall season perspective. The reason why I mentioned point guards is because the Cavs actually do have a handful of injuries tonight, and he will be playing a lot of point guard for Cleveland. Okay, Darius Garland out, Jarrett Allen out, Sam Merrill, Larry Nance, so on and so forth. Those Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland injuries, though, are key and they kind of add to the reason as to why I like this player prop. With those guys out, a lot more offensive responsibility falls on the shoulders of Donovan Mitchell in this spot, and I don't think San Antonio defensively necessarily has what it takes to match up here with Donovan Mitchell. Now, if you scroll down here on the dashboard, and you'll see, looking at the dashboard and Guy Boston Sports, Spurs Cavs matchup, San Antonio over the last 7 games, 20th in points, 12th in assists versus point guards, 27th in three-pointers allowed, and versus shooting guards, 28th in points, 24th in assists, 25th in three-pointers allowed. So it's a very good matchup spot. Donovan Mitchell, by the way, shooting very well from three this year. He's going to have a very high volume overall this season. If we look at the volume of work for Mitchell, he's averaging about 21 shots per game this year. With the injuries that the Cavs currently have, I expect him to be somewhere in this ballpark of 25 or more shots in this game. He's going to cover this mostly in points, but a couple assists sprinkled in here and there could get us to the over. So I like this spot a lot for Donovan Mitchell as the first leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, our second leg comes from the Hornets-Raptors game, 7:30 p.m. tip-off tonight. I'm going Miles Bridges of the Charlotte Hornets over 17.5 points. Now, this one, a little bit more juiced of an alternate line, minus 216 over on DraftKings, but very good data for this player prop. A 68% hit rate on the season, 15 of 22 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 21.09 points per game this year with a couple of close calls on both sides. Close calls in terms of cashes, close calls in terms of misses, but overall some pretty good data. Even last 10 games, you do see a 60% hit rate, 19.2 points per game over his last 10 games. He's coming off a couple of bad performances, just 8 points in each of his last 2 games. His minutes were also a little bit on the lower side in those spots. He just did not shoot the ball well at all in these games. So he is a bit due in this spot. From a head-to-head perspective, each of the last 2 matchups versus Toronto, he's cashed the over. More importantly, both of those games versus Toronto come from this season. So he is 2-0, a 100% hit rate this year against the Raptors. 22 points on November 17th. And just last week on November 29th, he had 35 points against Toronto. So both in the last few weeks he's played them, and both games he had very good, strong performances against Toronto. You see here a lot of shots, and he didn't shoot particularly great in the first game either, 9 for 22, but obviously a very high volume of shots, taking about 8 threes per game on average over the last 4 meetings with Toronto. And the key reason why I like this, beyond the fact that you have a high volume data, good head-to-head data this year, overall pretty solid numbers across the board, is that Toronto this year versus power forwards, 23rd in the NBA in terms of points allowed per game. Again, jumping over to the dashboard over on Guy Boston Sports, that number is pretty consistent because over the last 7 games, Toronto 24th in points allowed to the power forward position. So really good matchup here. It's been consistent this way all year long with Toronto. And looking at the last few matchups here, power forwards against them, you see a healthy amount of green here. Some pretty good spots across the board from power forwards. And these aren't even great power forwards necessarily. You know, Jake Laravi is having a good year, but I wouldn't necessarily paint him as one of the best of the best. But Noah Clowney had 22 points. Tamani Kamara had 21, so on and so forth. So it's a good matchup spot here. Power forwards having success against Toronto. Miles Bridges in particular has had a lot of success against Toronto this year. So I like this spot over 17.5 points as the second leg in our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, next up, our third leg of our 5-leg parlay. We have another 7:30 p.m. tip-off. We have Jazz Knicks. I'm going Lauri Markkanen of the Utah Jazz over 24.5 points plus assists, which I am grabbing for minus 218 over on DraftKings. Again, another bit of a juice alternate line here, but definitely worth it. Pretty good numbers across the board here for Markkanen. A 67% hit rate on the season, 14 of 21 games, averaging 30.1 points plus assists per game overall this season. So very good numbers across the board here for Markkanen. Last 10 games also still pretty solid. 60% hit rate, averaging 29.8 points plus assists per game over the last 10 games. Not a lot of head-to-head data to go off of, and both data points are from last season, but it is 50-50. The first time they played last year, November 23rd, he had 34 points and 2 assists. The most recent game on New Year's Day, January 1st of 2025, he had 16 points and 2 assists. Now, he played a pretty good amount of minutes in both those games. What happened in the second game, he just didn't shoot well at all. 6 for 22 from the floor. And overall, the Knicks this year versus power forwards, 25th in points allowed, 17th in assists allowed. So it's a very good defensive matchup. Referring to the dashboard over on Guy Boston Sports, the last 7 game data for the Knicks isn't as strong as their overall numbers are. You see 17th in points, 13th in assists, 27th, though, in three-pointers allowed, which obviously is big because Lauri Markkanen can stretch the floor and hit threes. So it is a pretty good matchup spot here for Markkanen. Not the best matchup of all time necessarily. It is worth mentioning this is the second night of a back-to-back for the Utah Jazz. So far this season, a 50% hit rate on back-to-backs for Markkanen. He's averaging 27.25 points plus assists per game. I mentioned this data point because I think it's important for you guys to know that ahead of time. You know, the numbers are still not bad, but obviously not as good when playing on the second night of back-to-back. And last year on back-to-backs, he did struggle a little bit. So take that with a grain of salt here. I still like the play, but just wanted to let you guys know that, you know, if you're trying to be a little careful here, this is a little bit of a riskier spot just due to the fact that it's a back-to-back. But we have seen power forwards have success. Kyle Kuzma had a good game. Noah Clowney had a big performance. Antetokounmpo obviously had a big performance. So it's a good prop, but be careful and be mindful of the fact that obviously this is the second night of a back-to-back. All right, guys, we still have 2 legs left in today's parlay. But first, before we finish up here, I want to talk to you guys about the sponsor of today's video, Chalkboard. Guys, if you like player props, I'm assuming you do because you're here watching my video today, and you haven't given Chalkboard a go yet, you are absolutely missing out. Right now, they have an incredible sign-up offer for new users. Sign up for Chalkboard today. We offer a link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment to go ahead and sign up for Chalkboard. Use promo code GUYBOSTON. They'll match your first deposit up to $100, 100%. So if you go ahead and deposit $100 with that sign up code GUYBOSTON, they'll give you $100 in bonus bets just like that. But Chalkboard isn't stopping there. They're also offering you guys, as a part of this new user sign-up package, this free SGA pick, this over half points, rebounds, assists player prop. The actual line is set at 47.5. They're giving you this heavily altered line of over half for free. That easy, that simple. Make sure, guys, to go ahead and take advantage of this special promo offer. One more time, we have a link down below in both the description as well as in the pinned comment to go ahead and sign up for Chalkboard. Use promo code GUYBOSTON. They'll match your first deposit up to $100, 100%, as well as give you this free SGA pick. Shout out to Chalkboard for sponsoring today's video and being a proud sponsor of Guy Boston Sports. All right, guys, back to the parlay. Our fourth leg of our 5-leg parlay here comes from the Pacers-Bulls game. 8 p.m. tip-off. This is the most heavily juiced alternate line of the parlay. It's minus 256 over on DraftKings. That is Pascal Siakam of the Pacers over 24.5 points plus assists, which I'm grabbing, like I said, minus 256 over on DraftKings. But really good data across the board. 76% hit rate on the season for Siakam. 16 of 21 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 28.24 points plus assists per game overall this year. So really good data. He's cashed it in 9 of his last 10 games, averaging 27 points plus assists per game over his last 10 games. He's cashed in 4 straight, 75% over his last 20 games. Really phenomenal data across the board here. Now, from a head-to-head perspective, a little dicier, 40% hit rate over the last 5 matches, but he's played them one time this year, about a week ago on November 29th. He had 24 points and 4 assists in that game, and obviously, he cashed the over. And he did leave some shots on the table there. Just shot 11 for 23, so a very high volume of work. Didn't shoot as well as he could have, and yet he still cashed the over. This prop is all about the defensive matchup here, guys. The Bulls this year, 20th in points allowed to power forwards, 13th in assists. If we go over the dashboard here over on Guy Boston Sports and we find that Bulls-Pacers game, though, you'll see over the last 7 games, the Bulls versus power forwards, 27th in points, 20th in assists. So it's a very good defensive matchup here for Siakam. They do defend the 3 very well, but don't worry, Siakam's not really taking too many 3s, so we're not too concerned about that. It's a very good matchup spot, very high volume of work. Obviously, he took 23 shots a week ago when he played them, and he didn't even shoot the ball that great, and he still cashed the over. Good defensive matchup, good numbers, and of course, we know the situation with this Pacers team. They are hurting right now. So many injuries to their depth pieces. Aaron Nesmith out, Obi Toppin out. Siakam's going to have to play a lot of minutes here and take a lot of shots. I think it's obviously a good thing for us with this over here. So it's our 4th leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, in our 5th and final leg of our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay, we have Mavericks Thunder, 9:30 p.m. tip-off tonight. I'm going with Chet Holmgren here of the Thunder over 24.5 points plus rebounds, which I'm grabbing for minus 170 over on DraftKings. Data is very good across the board here. 67% hit rate on the season, 12 of 18 games, averaging 26.39 points plus rebounds per game overall this year. Even if you go ahead and narrow it to the last 10 games, it's still very good. 6 of his last 10, he's cashed the over, averaging 24.7 points plus rebounds per game over his last 10 games. Head-to-head perspective, the last time they played Dallas, which is the one time they played this year, October 27th, he had 18 points and 11 rebounds in that game, so good head-to-head data. The insights provided by Outlier, Chet Holmgren has exceeded 25.5 points plus rebounds in 7 of his last 8 games versus bottom 10 defenses for rebounds allowed. He's averaging 29 points plus rebounds per game over that 8-game data range. And again, we're grabbing it at 24.5, not 25.5. So that extra point plus rebound obviously could be a difference maker in this spot. Dallas this year versus centers, 25th in points allowed, 22nd in rebounds. So it's a good defensive matchup spot. If we narrow it down to the last 7 games, we kind of scroll through the dashboard here. We'll zoom in and look at the numbers here. Dallas, last 7 games, 26th in points, 27th in rebounds to the center position. So all the numbers point to this player prop, but we're not done there. Beyond that, we add to the fact that there are some big injuries for this Thunder's team. Caruso out, Lou Dort's out, but more importantly, Isaiah Hartenstein and obviously Thomas Sorber, the rookie, are both out, but mainly Hartenstein. With Hartenstein out, Holmgren's going to play center and get a lot more minutes, a lot more touches, a lot more shots. You do see the last 5 games, he's cashed this in 3 straight games. Obviously, Hartenstein's been out for a little bit now. Really good numbers for him. He's taking about 12 shots per game over the last 5 games, 15 rebound chances per game, playing a healthy amount of minutes. So across the board, some really good numbers here for Chet. Love this one as the 5th and final player prop in today's parlay. All right, guys, quick little recap here. We have Miles Bridges over 17.5 points for the Charlotte Hornets. Chet Holmgren, like we just mentioned, our last pick, over 24.5 points plus rebounds for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Pascal Siakam, over 24.5 points plus assists for the Indiana Pacers. Donovan Mitchell, over 34.5 points plus assists for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Lauri Markkanen, over 24.5 points plus assists for the Utah Jazz. You parlay all 5 together, you get a parlay of plus 698 over on DraftKings at the time of recording. And that little page I just showed you guys, if you click the link in the description, it says link for today's picks. You click that link. Actually, we'll go ahead and share that with you one more time. We'll go back to that page real quick. You click that link, it'll take you right to this page. All you got to do, hit add to bet slip, continue in browser, and it plugs it directly into your sportsbook for you. Nice and easy to go ahead and utilize. And you just go ahead and put how many units or how much you'd like to put on the parlay. But it's that easy. It's that simple to go ahead and tail our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlays. And guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and drop a comment down below. We'll be back tomorrow with another NBA player prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Let's go ahead and make some money.